Hi, I'm Liz Gunn from New Zealand Loyal, and our Southland candidate Logan Evans is with me to interrogate Christopher Wingate, who is a New Zealander living in Australia, and talking about a whole new system. Logan, what is it that intrigued you about Chris's ideas?
So Chris's plan is around leadership accountability law, and it is a mechanism that has the ability to hold the leaders of this country accountable for their actions. When we've floated this to members of the public in meetings, the response has been huge. It's been pretty much unanimous that what New Zealanders want is the leaders of this country to be accountable for their actions. So, Chris, exactly how would we implement that?
Leadership accountability law obviously has to be legislated, but what the legislation would produce is an independent jurisdiction, a new type of court system, or one that would run parallel to the existing courts. And it would be dealing purely with the conduct of people that we've got trusting running whatever arm of government, whether it's politicians or the judiciary, bureaucracy, or whatever. So if you're dealing with a problem that politicians won't answer, then you could make an application directly to the court and you could hold them to account for whatever their wrongdoing is or whatever their failure is. Because the current system is that they'll simply ignore your complaint and they'll get away with whatever the damaging policy is. So we've got to move the power really from the judges, and we've got to put it in the hands of a jury. So the idea of the Leadership Accountability Court is that the judge is basically an administrator of the process, and that the decision is solely with the jury. I've known, throughout my business career that whenever I'd come up against what I used to loosely term idiots in power, there was nothing I could do about it. Even if lawyers suggested that you go to the mainstream courts, it's very costly. It takes far too long. And the decisions, if they're manipulated or they're ignoring the law because they've got some other agenda going on, there's nothing you can do about it. It basically taught me that this is the problem with democracy, and this is why democracy needs to be modernised, because we own government, and at every election we appoint these managers to look after government on our behalf. And that's the only form of accountability that we've got. And it's simply not good enough, because in amongst that whole political establishment, they get hijacked. They get caught up in this apex structure of power. With government, they say that accountability is compliance. So everybody down on the structure is just compliant to whatever decision they are given. If you look throughout history, you can see in Germany, the train drivers were sort of told to drive the people to the camps, and the guards were told to load the people onto the trains. And that's how these horrors in history occur, that everybody just plays their little part and they don't really understand the net sum total of what the problem is. And we can certainly see in New Zealand with, the sale of state-owned assets, with the favouritism that's been given to offshore interests to come in and buy up all of our corporations, buy up all of our banks, the shares in them. You can see that the advantages that they're given is as a result of their lobbying and the power of their money. So we've got to do something about that. We've got to protect the interests of New Zealand. We certainly can't do that with the existing system.
It certainly ties in, Chris and Logan, with New Zealand Loyal, which is giving a reminder to the people of New Zealand that you have always had the power. You just forgot temporarily that the power rests with you, the people. And Logan, as somebody willing to go in and be a representative of the people of New Zealand like me, don't you love the thought that the people will have the power to hold our feet to the fire as well, to hold us accountable? I love it.
Here with you, Liz, because when I first floated this idea with you, your response was, if I was the leader of this country, I would love to be bound by a system like that. So I was accountable to the people for my actions. And it was really that made me go, righto, I can work with this lady. It just means that the honesty and integrity that you show is there for sure.
And all of us in our New Zealand Loyal team. So watch the full discussion with me and Logan Evans and Chris Wingate over in Australia about this visionary system for revolutionising the power of the people to hold those in leadership account in New Zealand.